Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our bold analysis. And in this episode, I want us to go a little bit deeper. I want to say that Uhuru-Ruto fallout was mismanaged, and to my understanding, seems it was actually misunderstood. And what shaped the August 9th general election contest between Deputy President William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga is that Uhuru-Ruto fallout that, according to Charles Keter, happened even before the 2017 general election. And because President Uhuru Kenyatta needed a second term, there was need to make sure that you keep Ruto closer. I want to use analogy of the 2000 and the Grand Coalition fallout between Raila Odinga and the Pentagon members. After the 2007 general election, Pentagon members William Ruto, who was in cabinet, who was appointed cabinet minister, fell out with Raila Odinga. And to some point, Raila even sacked him from cabinet. But the climax of that fallout was the contentious Mau issue. But after that fallout, William Ruto and his team formed, or rather, I don't know if they formed or that they joined a URP party. And the leaders from Rift Valley went and coalesced around Deputy President, the Cherengani MP, Joshua Kutuny, the Isaac Ruto and the team were around Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. That is the party that also Duale was. So when time came for the 2013 election, URP formed a coalition with the TNA to form the Jubilee Party. And that was the genesis of Jubilee One. Despite the fact that there was a fallout between Raila and William Ruto, Raila lost a chunk, quite a big chunk of the Rift Valley. But the leaders coalesced around William Ruto, and William Ruto was in a position to win with President Uhuru Kenyatta on 2013 and again in 2017. That was courtesy of those leaders that coalesced around him, because he was in a position to still hold grip of the larger Rift Valley. Now, let me take you to home closer. I have observed with keen interest the public debacle between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President. The latest one is the Unga. And one thing you will see, that the genesis of this debacle is just the fallout. And that happened more than five years ago. To date, it's still something that is happening. Now, I want to say there has been a dominant narrative that Raila Odinga, working with President Uhuru Kenyatta in the second term, misadvised the president. And I want to agree with people who say that Ruto was pushed to the periphery. I was talking to a friend who was telling me that Kevin Baba is very powerful in this country. The person was telling me, be it when he was a prime minister and now, Baba was very powerful between 2017 and now. And of course, there is a bit of what Raila could be asked and he could answer. But that means that narrative that Raila is the person that misadvised the president. This narrative is not formed for any merit for the Kenyan voter to question. But that narrative was crafted and formed to make sure that you incite Raila Odinga against President Uhuru Kenyatta's supporters, who majority of leaders in Mount Kenya believed was President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, with Azimio and Kenya Kwanza shaping as vehicles of the 2022 contest, others are in those vehicles to salvage their political career, while others are just there to maintain status quo, maybe keep already they have, and some still harbor their political future. whether they might not win seats now, but they want to remain politically relevant. The ones that perhaps want nomination slots, want something, MD positions, all that, they just want to remain around so that they can still harbor their political ambitions in future. Because as of now, there are people that have point of no return. And I want to use a very good example. Moses Kuria. He might not be comfortable with what is happening in Kenya Kwanza, but he has point of no return. He just wants to stick there. In case anything happens, that they form the opposition, or rather they form government, and there is that which can be given to Mount Kenya, his name can appear in that list. Now, look keenly the public debacle, and I've picked these pitches. The one for Rigathi Gachagua, when he is talking to President Uhuru Kenyatta, and remember he's back in central Kenya for the tour. We'll try to look at that. And I've also merged it with William Ruto talking about the unga. And you will see two voices of men that are after President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now have a listen to that.
Hamuwezi kuharibu uchumi wa Kenya, mukasababisha wa Kenya wamehangaika na bei ya chakula imepanda, gharama ya maisha imepanda. Alafu saa hizi mnajaribu kutuletea mambo madogo madogo ati peremende ati ndio tuwapitishe. Mimi nataka niwaambie, leteni unga ya 100, leteni unga ya bure. Hawa wananchi watachukua, na tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tutawafungia virago mkwende nyumbani. Tunakubaliana? Rafiki yangu Uhuru Kenyatta, wacha kulalamika. Wewe uliharibu serikali yako. Ukafukuza William Ruto, alikuwa na kusaidia kazi. Ukafukuza Rigathi Gachagua, alikuwa na kushauri. Ukafukuza Aden Duale, ukafukuza Ichong'wa, ukafukuza Susan Keheka, ukafukuza Mukromen, ukafukuza ile watu yote iko na akili. Ukachukua mzee ya miaka 80 akuwe mshauri yako. Ukachukua ile mzee ya tumbo kubwa, yule Matiang'i anakula pesa ya polisi atuwakusaidie. Ndio umekwama, serikali yako imefika mwisho. Unalia ati viongozi, wacha kulia, imebaki siku 18, maliza ufanye nini? Na rais, tunakuomba ukienda nyumbani usisahau, shika mzee yako ya kitendawili mkono, muende pamoja nyumbani.
It is also us in the political class and how we manipulate this so-called unga crisis every election in an attempt to gain political mileage. We in the political class, it is so unfortunate but shocking that we have the audacity to politicize the misery of the most vulnerable in our society. But let me say, it is even more distasteful for us to seek political gain and make political capital out of the suffering of the vulnerable without even attempting to offer solutions.
Now, if you listen to those two voices, you see the way the lines are drawn. That the deputy president on the side and Rigathi Gachagua are going after. And he has been so categorical that instead of going out there to make noise and say the way things have not been done, you should then sit down and provide solutions. You have seen a protracted fight between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. I want to repeat, as I've always maintained my position in my analysis, that what happened between William Ruto and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, no one knows except the two of them. But there were political orphans. There were political orphans because the leaders from Mount Kenya found themselves in crossroads. Which way to go? And we want us to delve and look at this critically. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to our channel. Kindly like our video and share this analysis. I also want to read your comments because I said this will be deep. I also want to read your comments here as we head towards this election. How that fallout is going to reshape election pattern on the D-Day. because, of course, there is a contest between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. I want to say that when the team had realized, because after the handshake, William Ruto had stepped out, literally going public. Of course, he started doing some, launching some projects, but they were a bit more political. The president was becoming uncomfortable by the early campaigns because I think he did not want the transition politics, the succession politics to take charge earlier. Then the leaders from Mount Kenya, and I want to be specific, Alice Wahome, the Ndindi Nyoro, Rigathi Gachagua, Kimani Chungwa, and Moses Kuria, they coalesced around deputy president, but forgot about their own. Now, this is what I'm saying. Let's refer back to the 2000 in the Grand Coalition breakup between Raila and Ruto. Why do you think it was easy for legislators in Rift Valley to say, yes, there is this fallout, but we are sticking with William Ruto? That is the blunder. And I believe that, yes, there was that fallout. What would have been the best is for them to get themselves, coalesce in some neutral ground. Now Pime. Now Pime, because when they went to deputy president's side, their understanding, of course, was that President Uhuru Kenyatta was not going to be active on succession politics. In fact, it was unthinkable that Uhuru would say Raila Tosha. And the corridors were then coming out with the narrative that it is just a test of time before Uhuru Kenyatta drops Raila Odinga's handshake deal. Now, that coalescing, or rather defiance to just leave their comfort zone, or rather leave President Uhuru Kenyatta, don't even mind forming their own space, even if they were to walk out of Jubilee, form their own space, but going to dine with Deputy President, in my understanding, might have annoyed President Uhuru Kenyatta, because the fallout between Uhuru and Ruto was personal. So they found themselves in that mix, and that could be the reason why President had no option but to say Raila Tosha. That is going to destroy them. Critically, because it has pushed Rigathi Gachagua to a corner that you have to perpetuate Raila hate in Mount Kenya. The Raila hate is the script that has been in this country that, and you listen to some of them saying that as we normally wake up in the morning to send Raila to Bondo, actually in the campaign rallies, you will hear people saying in Uda that tutamweka kwa Ilbara asubuhi tumpeleke Bondo. So the narrative has been that Mount Kenya is going to turn up to vote to send Raila Odinga to Bondo. But that is going to be a bad trap of them because, number one, the dynamics are changing. Kikuyu challenging tyranny of numbers may never re-emerge after this election. I can say this. If Raila wins the presidency, whatever happens, the emergence of Kalenjin Kikuyu deal to have a strong ticket that will never shake, that then shake this country, might never exist because the matrix is going to change. And perpetuating Raila's hate is central. I don't think, even if Raila will not get 50 or 40% from Mount Kenya now, but if in 2027 he will still be in succession, in his own succession, then I can tell you there are people that will listen to Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta, and that percentage will most likely increase in future. Now, when you listened to the debate, Deputy President's debate, and as from where I was seated, did you realize, am I the only one that became so curious that the moderators, or rather the organizers of that debate, sneaked in the question of, will you go after the first family? That was a very heavy question. Let me tell you, if there is a question in that debate that was, for me, was the most heaviest one, was that one: are you going after the first family? Because that was sneaked there by, not by coincidence, but for an objective. Now, question is this: whether Ruto will go after President Uhuru Kenyatta or not. Why do you think that is important now? How is that going to help the Kenyan voter make a choice? So, this was there because there have been unstrategic attacks on Kenyatta family. When Moses Kuria carried William Ruto and went to Chaweri and decided to attack President Uhuru Kenyatta there, and I think there were also some unprintable words on Mama Ngina. Remember the Choi guy who was silenced in US? So there has been this, and even if you look at the port issue, it had been made to understand that it's between Raila Odinga, Kenyatta family, and Joho. So the manifesto, when it came out, there was a bit of Uhuru Kenyatta will go after, or rather William Ruto will go after President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was coming out because of that fallout. And Gachagua camp got themselves in it, and they were successfully used to do it. While the problem is, it changes the context. And if there will be a contest in Mount Kenya between Rigathi Gachagua, all this camp against Kenyatta family, I can tell you that that is not a contest they can win. And I'm not trying to protect what many people believe the dynasties, but that is not a contest they can win. Lastly, I think trying to outdo President Uhuru Kenyatta when still in power was a misdoing, because remember the impeachment question, and some of those MPs have come out to say that of course there was such a deal for impeachment to happen. And I believe that there are just a lot, even the way President Uhuru Kenyatta abandoned the Jubilee Party, and he was a little bit annoyed because these people were not with him. I think the best was to do was to make sure that the party was strong. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my inside look on how that fallout was mismanaged. I was going there because this election was harbored by Deputy President and Uhuru Kenyatta's fallout.